Hi, my name's Barbara Barker, and as you know, I teach plant-based cooking classes and I write plant-based cookbooks. And I have to give you an apology because in the last class, the tinfoil tamales, I kept calling this masa. But when you go to the grocery store to ask for this, you want to ask for maseca, M-A-S-E-C-A, and it's over in where they have the flour, the baking flour. So this package is not called masa, it's called maseca. Okay, so we got that done. I hope you did make the tinfoil tamales, they are great. Okay, so today I'm going to teach you how to make low-fat, low-sugar carrot cake. And you say, well, why do I need to know how to make carrot cake? Because I can go to the grocery store and just buy it. Well, years and years ago, a friend of mine that used to help me at my tea garden loved carrot cake. And she handed me a recipe and said, I want you to make this recipe for me. And I looked at the recipe, and the first thing was a cup of sugar and a cup of oil. And even way back then, 25, 30 years ago, I would never make a cake with a cup of oil. So this carrot cake only has 1 tablespoon of oil, and it makes 8 like bars or cake pieces like this. And so what are you getting? Maybe a half a teaspoon of oil in each slice. So I have the recipes in my book, and I have already pre-mixed the wet ingredients, and I'll read them off to you so that you don't have to worry that you're not going to get the recipe. In this bowl, pre-mixed, I have 1 cup of grated carrots. You can either do them in the food processor or on the box grater. I have 1/4 of a cup of orange juice, or you can use cranberry juice, or you can use water. I have a teaspoon of vanilla. I have the 1 flax egg, which you know is the flaxseed meal, combined with 3 tablespoons. Here I did the orange juice to get it to make a gel. I have 1/4 of a cup of pureed tofu, or you can use yogurt as long as it's low fat and no sugar. I have 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and 1/2 a cup of, remember my trick with the craisins, with the soaking them first, and for about 15 minutes in warm or hot water, and then I drain out all the soaking liquid and get rid of it, and then I just have the plain cranberries. So that's all been done beforehand. And in the dry ingredients here, I have pre-mixed 1 cup of flour. This is, I usually work with oat flour because the all-purpose white flour in the grocery store is full of that chemical glyphosate, which is basically they spray the wheat crops with that chemical that they call, it's basically called Roundup. And Roundup kills weeds. So you can imagine what it's doing to us. Then I have a teaspoon of baking soda. I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I have a teaspoon each of cinnamon and cardamom. And it makes a rather thick batter. I don't know if you notice this or not, but most of my recipes make a thick batter. I guess that's just what they say, just the way I roll. So this is just a 1 bowl. Remember the old cakes that they used to make out of the fruit cocktail? They used to call it the dump cake. Now I'm really dating myself, huh? So this just gets hand mixed, and I've tried this with everything. I've tried it with dark chocolate chips, I've tried it with white chocolate chips, raisins, everything, you name it. And the fruit that works best in here is what they call the craisins, the dried cranberries. And the health benefits of cranberries are that they are definitely a superfood. They have more antioxidants than blueberries. They help our immune system, and they reduce pain from inflammation, and they take plaque out of our system that builds up in the arteries and the teeth. So it's truly a superfood, as is the oat flour, and the carrots are also a superfood because they help with your eyesight. You know, if you have little floaters or anything in your eyes, helps with that, and it helps with digestion. And the carrots also help to keep the liver detoxified. We should all be eating 1 carrot every day. So, and don't peel your carrots. Just wash them real good with a little vegetable brush. So I'm going to spray, this is an 8x8 pan. I'm going to spray it with my olive oil spray for insurance. So I can hit the pan. And then go straight to the pan with your batter. And I'm going to pour it high so that you can kind of see what the batter looks like. The problem with especially like the white chocolate chips, putting them in here, is that the cake got all gooey from them. So I don't use white chocolate chips in here anymore. But you could use raisins if you like them. Do not put pineapple. Pineapple is what they call a high carbohydrate food, and we're only supposed to be eating low carbohydrate fruit, which would be like pears and apples and peaches. So we're supposed to like kind of try to stay away from pineapple and banana, the high sugar fruit. One doctor that I listen to, he says that we eat entirely too much fruit in this society that we're in, this economy. And so he says stay away from too much fruit. So then you're going to bake this at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. And when it comes out, it looks like this. And Lori tasted it. Did you think it was good?
Very good.
Okay. And you can freeze the cake once it's baked. And so that's cake number 1. Then I'm going to show you cake number 2. In this book, Enlightened High Tea Parties, I have a carrot cake recipe that is not baked at all. I just call it no-bake carrot cake. And I'm only doing half a recipe, but I will read you the entire recipe in case you want to make a whole recipe. And they come out in these little squares like this, and you don't bake them. I'm just going to show you how to make the squares in here, and you just cut them up. Do them in an 8x8 pan or whatever size pan you want. This is done in an 8x8. And once you've chilled them in the refrigerator, you just cut them into these little squares, and on top I have the sweet potato frosting, which you know what that is. It's the pureed sweet potatoes with maybe a little warm water to get them to go if they're dry, and a little bit of the liquid steady. So here I have, this is 1 cup of cooked diced carrots, and I put some, I already put the vanilla in here, so it turned it a little dark color. So these are the cooked carrots, and you can grind them in the food processor and then cook them in the microwave for like 3 minutes, 1 minute on, 1 minute off. And yeah, that's what I have in there. And then so you've got your cooked carrots, and then I have already pre-mixed. This is 3/4 of a cup of granola. Remember, we made the granola on one of the classes. I think it was the candy making class. where you bake your own granola from using rolled oats. The recipe is also in my book. And we have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1/4 cup of applesauce, 1/2 cup of the soaked and drained craisins, and 2 teaspoons of ground flax seeds, or you can use ground chia seeds, and that's just like a binder to get it to stick together. And then 1/2 teaspoon each of cinnamon, cardamom, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger to get your pumpkin pie spice flavor. And just gets all mixed in a bowl. And you see, it's also a thick, wet batter. And so from this stage, we're not going to bake it. Remember, this is unbaked. So at this stage, what we're going to do is, this is going to simulate my 8x8 pan. And you can spray it or not spray it. It's okay. And so you just put your, and then I'm going to show you another trick that makes them really, really good. You just spread them in your 8x8 pan. And like I said, I'm only making half a recipe because I don't want to be here rolling all day. And you just press it in your pan, and you put it in your refrigerator for a couple of hours, and then you can cut it into squares like that and put your sweet potato frosting right on top of it. Or my sister said they were a little bit gushy, so what I did was I rolled them into like a little truffle. You see, I actually remembered my gloves. Today I'm going to roll them into a truffle, and not too big, maybe an inch. And then I'm going to roll it in some chopped almonds. I've used everything to roll truffles in. The chopped almonds seem to do the best. But you could process your granola, some extra granola in your food processor, and you could roll it in granola. I'm only going to make 2 of them for you. And like I said, once you get into making the these carrot cakes, you're going to be really into the craisins, the cranberries, because they are so good for you. And then also you're going to want to let these set up in the fridge for a couple hours so that they'll keep their roll shape. And that's no-bake carrot cake and baked carrot cake. And I want to thank you for listening to my recipes, and remind you that you are valuable, and please take care of yourself, and please eat plant-based. Thank you.